Move, Sam. Get out the way.
And then you can go down so you can see how much it is. Okay, so you can pause it with just the 2 buttons.
Okay.
Recording.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Charles, I'm getting ready to put this down on her kitchen countertop. And I would recommend starting from the front. So if you have to cut, and you come over here so you can see what I'm talking about. The lines where you would have to meet it is not showing up front. So, and this is 15, this one roll that I got from Walmart is 15 inches long. So if you order some from Amazon, and she has a pretty long counter, just see how long it is, and it is 20 inches wide. And what I'm doing, because she has this overhang, I'm going past this overhang so I can go up under the counter. And on the back, got to show you, on the back, it has the measurements. I'll turn it this way. It has measurements that you can use to go by. And of course, it has the instructions of what to do. So these lines are good to help you go by measurements to cut off the excess of what you need. So I'm getting ready to go through the process of showing you how I cut this. And her sink is a sink that's mounted on top, so it's very easy to do because I can cut around this. So what I'm doing is I'm going past the overhang, and I am measuring so I can turn up under. So this is, so that's actually 1, 2, 3 line. And I'm going right up to her grout line. And then what I start doing is I just take it off the paper and start with my card. So you can hit the pause button, 2 buttons.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just peeling it off. Takes a while to find a piece. What another trick that you probably can do if it's hard to find it, put tape on this side and tape on this side and pull the tape, and it causes the 2 pieces to separate.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I fold this first flat back, and whatever you do, don't take all the adhesive off at one time, or you will have a mess to untangle. So I just fold that a little bit back, and then I lay it down to where I measured. Okay, you can come over here so he can see. Okay, so I'm using my credit card, and yes, you can use any credit card. And I'm just pushing it right up to the edge. And then just take your time, and I'm making sure that it stays straight. And then I pull it a little bit. I'm just pulling the backing down. And see right here, can you come clear here? This right here is a bubble, but I'm going to roll it out real carefully. And also, when you're using whatever it is that you use, whether it's a credit card or where you decide to order the piece that they have, it's best to go sideways and not up and down. I learned that too. So if you can, go sideways to press down your adhesive on the countertop for the backsplash. And you have to take your time with this. You can't go fast, or you're going to find yourself pulling this up. And this is how user-friendly it is. I'm pulling it up, but I can put it right back down. So if the manager decides after so many years they don't want it there, it doesn't damage their countertops. You can just pull it right up. I'll start going down straight, But when I get enough room to slant, then I start going in a slanting motion. And hers has these tile grooves. So if you saw my video that was uploaded yesterday, which was the 7th, I'm doing the same thing to that bathroom shower. I'm pressing my finger in the grooves. If you can see here, I'm pressing my finger in the grooves. But of course, the countertops you all have will not have grooves. Pulling it back. And you can probably come around this way so he can see. Where it looks like it's going to form a bubble, I just go ahead and take my time. And all you're doing is pushing the air out.
Mm-hmm.
To get rid of the bubble that's trying to form. And again, I'm going diagonally with my card. And each time I'm making sure that it stays straight. So this is not something that is very easy, but it's not something that you want to do real fast. You have more of a mess up to try to straighten out. So it's just taking your time at doing this. That's all I'm doing is this, just pulling it down as I go. And I'm making sure it stays straight. Okay, so we're going to pause the camera and I'm going to come back to you when I get to the sink to show you how I cut around the sink. Okay, so you can blink.
Okay. And we got it. I'm doing it.
Okay. I'm good.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, Charles, so I'm close to the basin here, and I am getting ready to, and all I'm doing is, again, all right, here's a good thing. See, can you bring it real close to here? This is an air bubble. Can you see the bubble with the phone?
I see it.
So all I'm doing, if it gets to that close, you can just pull it up. And just be careful to go back down, that's all. Just don't go too fast. And all you're doing is pushing the air bubble towards to come out. See, it's gone. Okay, so I'm getting ready to get to this edge to cut the piece off. And so what I'm doing is I'm just pushing it right to the edge. And I'm going to use the utility knife to cut it. And I have tiny little bubbles. You can pop those with the pin, with the straight pin. Okay, so here I'm right at the edge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut above that just so I can have excess. And then I will cut around. Okay, I'm right to the edge here, and I'm doing that because I will be able to match it to go around. So I'm just going to lay it all out here. And what I can do here to help this bend, because I don't need this up here, I can cut this so this can come around. And so helping that to lay down. And I'm not going to cut anything down here because I need this. Okay, so and what I'm going to do, because I want to come around here. So let me just do this first. Where does I come out at? Okay, right here. And I'm taking my time. There's no
rush.
I'm pressing down and just going real slow.
Sam, get out of here. He's worse than an aggravating child. playing with the paper.
I just take my time and go
Sam, get off of that. Get off of that wallpaper. I mean that contact paper. Oh, that man can hear me. I forgot.
Okay. Okay, I'm coming around here because he needs to see this here. And I'm just following, taking my time, following. So you're getting this here?
Mm-hmm. Sam, get off of that paper.
I'm doing this here so I can just fill in my letter real carefully. And then what's going to give the finished edge is caulking.
Mm-hmm.
So this here that's so rigid, you don't have to worry about that because you're going to finish that off with caulking. This right here, you do not have to worry about that because again, you're going to go around with some caulking. They won't even see that. Okay, so how I'm finishing, and you can kind of go out here. I'm going to turn this under. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling it and I'm pressing it with my finger and my hand.
Okay, I was leaning all up on
That's
that.
okay. And I'm pressing it up under. And just take your time because this can bubble up too if you're not careful, like right there. So I'm going to try to press just to get my crease to go along with the edge of the cabinet. Then press it, you know, to kind of like ironing it out with your hand, making sure all the bubbles are. Okay, sorry about that, Charles. Again, all I'm doing is pressing and folding it up under. And again, if you have the bull-nosed edge, you can use a dryer. And if you have a hair, do you have a hair dryer?
Mm-hmm.
I can still do it on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll show you how to use the hair dryer. Even though this is not a bull-nosed edge, I can still show you what I would do. And I'm going to show you
Sam is
how,
right behind you. Get off of that paper.
how I touch it.
Let me get him up.
Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, again, this is around the edge of the sink. And again, you don't worry about that because you're going to caulk around that edge. Now what I'm going to do, and the reason why I say start with the contact paper coming up front, if you have to match it, at least the line will go to the back and match it. Don't overlap, but get close to the edge, because if you overlap, you're going to see that when you press the contact paper down. And I'll show you, I'll do it to show you what I'm talking about.
Now it's started.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to match a piece to go from here to here. You can either, and they have these measurements which you can use. You get your ruler and you can measure it and then put it on here and then cut the width of whatever you measured to fill in to the length. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this and first I'm getting my length of what I need right up to the sink. And I'm just going to, and what I like to do, honestly, is I like to go above what I need. So if I score it, it's evenly scored, as opposed to like this here, this edge is crooked. It's not straight. So I like to go above and just score so it can have a neat finish. So I'm going just above that here, and I'm doing the same here. So I'm going past what I need just so I can score it. And I'm just going to cut. So I'm going beyond here and beyond there on that end up there, just so that I can use my knife here to make even straight line cuts. Okay. Again, this has the measurements on the back of the paper for you. Okay, so that's going to be the length of the cabinet. Now to measure what I need, and I'm going right up to where this finishes. And I would need a ruler for that.
I got a ruler.
Okay, so if you can put that on pause. What I'm going to do is I'm using up to here, but I'm gonna go past here as far as measuring to cut, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this up the wall so I can score right up to the grout line here, and I'm going to go past this so I can score right around the sink, and I'm going past this so I can score right up under the grout line, so it can be a perfect finish all the way around. Okay, so I've already measured it and I know where I need to put my ruler, and it just so happened that the line that I need is not here. So I have to make my own line. I have to make my own measurement line to cut. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut that with regular scissors. And this is the part. This half is what's going to go in here. Okay, you can
pause it.
See what I mean? Okay, I've cut my piece. And this is the side that I cut. But I'm going to put this side, because I didn't have to cut it straight, I'm putting it up against this part that's already laying down because it's perfectly straight and I didn't have to cut that. So this is how it's going to be laid. See, if it's going past that grout line, it's going past the sink, and you know what? I gotta cut another piece.
Why?
Because I wanted it to go up to here.
Oh.
I didn't want it to go up to here. And see how this is why I know it wasn't straight. And look, it's up to here, but then it comes out.
Oh, okay.
So when you're cutting your contact paper, make sure you cut it well past
what you need.
What you need, because it's easier to just cut off the excess. Here I have no excess to cut off because I cut it. I traced my line, but my line wasn't straight because it wasn't using a leveler. I was just using a ruler to just make a line to cut. And I thought I gave myself enough excess so it can come up above the wall. So
it's right behind you.
What I'm going to do, okay, so what I'm going to do is just lay this piece and measure it first. I may not have to cut, so no, I'm not going to cut this. I'm just going to lay it and I'm going to score because it's enough going over the sink.
Enough going that way.
And it's definitely enough going this way. And it's enough still where I can score off because it's going over the black grout line. So that's basically what I was saying. You want it to go past your areas to have enough to where you can score perfect lines. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm putting, and you can bring it up to the sink, I'm doing it right up to the line. You don't want to put the contact paper over it because when you press it, you're going to see this line of the contact paper on top, and you don't want to see that. You want to get it against it, and you're going to want to do it very slow because what's going to happen if you just try to do it real fast, the contact paper is going to start coming this way or that way instead of going straight down. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And again, if it's too hard to take apart, just put a piece of tape on both sides and just pull, and it'll come apart. And this is where I usually pause my tape because it takes so long. Okay, so again, I folded that. And I'm going to go past the grout line, and I'm going right up. I'm gonna bring the camera up here so he can see. Okay, here I matched it right up to the line, and when you press it down, you won't see that right there. Okay, all right, so if you want to just hold it. So I'm just trying to get it back here. And I'm pulling as I'm doing this because I want it to stay straight. So I'm pulling this here and trying to straighten out with one hand. And I'm doing it with my finger right now. But once I start going, I will use my card to start spreading. Okay, so that's right there where I'm making that crease. That's where I'm going to use the utility knife and cut. And it'll be a perfect score where I can go up under this grout. So I want to take a little more, and I want to make sure it stays lined up. It can get tricky, so like this here, I can hear it tearing because that's how I had it. And if you want to cut more paper off, you can. You know, from up here, you can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a crease right here. I'm making a crease, and then I'm just going to cut the excess right here because all of this is in my way. I'm not going to need it anyway, but I'm going to make sure I'm cutting up here so I'll be able to score. Okay, can you see where I'm going? I'm trying to pull, I tore it when I was doing it, so I'm trying to pull this out. I'm going to pull up as much as I can. But I'm just going to be careful for when I get ready to lay it down. Okay. Okay, I need my card here.
Oh. And just make sure that you're keeping this close to the line, because if I allow it to just free flow and go by itself while I'm pulling, it'll end up going this way, or it'll end up going back like this. So you want to stop and make sure that it's, you know, stand nice and straight. And then I'll go diagonal. Once I get this down, I go diagonal to help push out air bubbles too. And then when I get the blow dryer and blow it, that'll... And see matching, let me show them one thing. See matching up veins? You can bring it up here. See how this looks like it's actually just connecting this here, this piece, looks like connects with that. So that's when you match it up, it's hard to see. And then the blow dryer too helps seal this paper. The adhesive on the back, it helps seal it in a semi-permanent way. When I mean semi-permanent, it's permanent until they're ready to pull it off, if they pull it off. So the heat from the blow dryer helps the adhesive stick this even more to the counter. Okay, you can turn it off and then I'll show him. Okay, Charles, here I finished it. I haven't cut it off, but I just want you to see. Okay, right here, if you see this little bit, you can see a little bit of black. Not much. That's because the paper started going towards the wall. So I had to pull this edge with my other hand, hold it straight while I laid it down. You can see where it came back, start connecting. So this is it on that. So now all I have to do is score that with my with the knife, and then what I'll do is I will go around the sink. The sink here, I mean, it's easy. All you would do, and I guess I would do it because it's the same thing done to here is what's going to be done on here. All I would have to do is just measure this piece that's going to be here to go up under here, and I would lay it and fold it up under. And you can match it up to here, or there's a trick that I taught myself on cutting, on how to cut it, and I'll show it to you and I'll lay it. But I want you to see this here. And I got the blow dryer out because I'm getting ready to show you how I use the blow dryer. Even if it's not bull nose, I'm going to show you how you can hold the dryer right to the contact paper and it doesn't damage it. And I wouldn't put it on high heat. I would put it on warm. Okay, so hi, Sam. Okay, so here it is, this side covered. That black is going to be covered with white caulking because she's going to keep her white tile. And we're probably going to paint our cabinets a deep smoky gray. But I'm going to show you how safe it is to use the blow dryer on it. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I pop. Let me see. Okay, here are some bubbles. Okay, you can see them right there. All you do, if they're that small, let me see if I can find the one I'm looking at. Okay, right there. You just take a pin.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
And pop it.
Oh.
And it flattens out. Because basically you're just releasing the air that's in that bubble. And that's all I'm doing. It's hard for me to do this and hold. Can you see the bubble? Because it's hard for me to do this and hold the. So can you see the bubble I'm popping? Like right here?
Yes. Yes, I see it.
And that's all you do. See, here's another one. One right here. And you don't, see it when you do it. I mean, the overall, but if it's like big, good size, I just poke the hole in them. Okay. And these are just like this because I didn't get the air out before. If you can try not to get bubbles in it, it's good. But if you do, just poke it. It's better to do this than to try to pull the whole thing up and try to lay it back down because you will have a time. And it's just a tiny little pinch. It's not something that you got to go stabbing. And then you can get a blow dryer and just put it over that.
And that'll seal it up.
Okay. All right, let me see. So I like to sit I'm just feeling to make sure that it's staying, because I notice when I put them on the cabinets and it goes up under, it sometimes will come down, and I guess because the wood is raw up under there. So the heat from this is helping this seal. But I do it on the whole thing anyway.
Okay, now.
Okay, so I cut a piece, Charles, that is going to measure, you can come over here, from where this piece in, again, doing it the same way I did the back part, to measure right up to it. I think it's easier to come on this side. Okay, so I cut it to where it measures right up to here.
Oh, I gotta turn it this way.
Yeah. Here until here. So when I get this piece that's gonna come from this way to go around, it's gonna match up to there. And again, all I gotta do is measure enough just to cut to turn up under the wood. Okay, so you can put that on pause.
Okay.
And I will.
Okay.
Okay, so I cut the piece that I need here, and if you come over here.
Okay.
And I am matching it right up to the line, right up. Actually, I'm going to go over because I want to cut. I'm going right up to the sink because I want to, again, do a precise cut. Okay. And this is a small enough piece I don't have to use the
Credit card.
Yeah. And again, I'm pulling to make this crease. I'm pressing it out with my finger. I'm pulling as I go. See that line? I have to, that's an air bubble. So I push it, I'm pushing it down to go out. And I'm pressing. And I'm pulling real tight so that it can make this crease to form to the sink, to the wood piece, I mean. So if you got to go over a bull-nosed edge, you would pull it and do it with the dryer. So where I am pulling, you would actually hold it and just put the dryer. So let's see if this dryer will make this form. I'm hoping this, let's see if this will work so you can understand what I'm saying. Okay, so this is hanging and I didn't turn it under yet. So it does like the bull-nose edge. It should just go under with the heat. There it is. So if you hold it, then just press it down. Okay. Okay. So the heat is causing this. See how it's causing it to bend? And all you do is just press it down with your hand. Okay. All down.
cut that excess out. Pretty hard now. It's raining pretty hard now.
Okay, and then I'm just going to cut the excess right up to the. Okay, Charles, so I'm getting ready to cover the back of this. And I got a ruler here to show how much I'm going to cut. So I went up to the 4-inch line because I want to go well over this part so I can cut here, and I'm going to bring the paper up to there so I can cut in this line. Okay, so here's the piece that I cut, and I am, see how short that is? Well, I'm going well over that so I can just cut around this part. And if you notice, it's not as long, but that's okay, because when I get ready to cover this side of the counter, I'll just bring that piece to come up to here, and then I'll just fill in a piece there. Just as long as I match them up and use the blow dryer, it'll pretty much hide the seam for me and seal the contact paper to the countertop. And it'll look, okay, like here, you see the seam, but it's not that noticeable. Let's see, there's a seam, and oh, and the seam back here, see if you can see it, which I really cannot until I point it out to you. Okay, there it is. So when it's hard for you to find the seam, it means you did a good job. Now you can see here, but that's no big deal, because pretty much she's going to have stuff up there. But what's up front, and that's why I say bring the contact paper up forward so that your seam line can be in the back. Yeah, and that's the part where I was showing him that paper started right here. Over here so he can see that I'm covering this part, so if you can put it up to here. Okay, so I'm covering this, and I'm going to overlap. Because I want to cut around that, and I'm doing this here. I'm trying to make it go straight. There we go. And then, again, you can pull this up and just reposition it. Here's my, put it back in here. Okay. Now I'm just pressing it in the grout line. And then I'm bringing it up and just pressing it up against the, I'm pulling it and pressing it up against the back of the sink, because I need it to give me some give. I don't need it to be so tight, because if when I go to try to score it, the paper is going to tear instead of scoring perfectly. So I'm pulling it up and just pressing from the back of the grout line up to the back of the sink. So I'm bringing it up and I'm pressing it down. Bringing it up and just letting the card press it down, as opposed to it pressing down by itself, because I needed that give in there. And I'm just kind of making a score line with my card of where I'm going to cut with the utility knife. Okay, and Okay, so I'm going to cut this part over here, tracing around, and again, close as you can, but you don't have to worry about the rough edges because you're going to use caulk. And again, if I hadn't already said it, the caulking that I use, if you don't have it already, I got mine from the dollar store, but it's any white caulking. And I would use white, not clear, because the clear is going to show the imperfections because it's going to dry clear. And I'm just pressing and feeling my way. Should pull up. Okay. I'm going to take this piece up that's hanging over there. I'm not leaving this little piece here that was hanging. I'm going to cut that. There it is. Scared, Sam?
It's a yipper.
That's her dog. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to pulling this up, and this is a trick that I do when I don't want you to see the line. I do a zigzag. When you press it down, it's hard to see.
Oh.
Because it blends in.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do it with the blow dryer, it's going to go down even more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do, and that's what I could have, let me show him. That's what I could have done right here. With this seam, I could have brought it over and just did a zigzag cut and just, not so much zigzag, but kind of curving, and just lay it down, and when you blow dry it, it just blends in. So here, this just blending in. When you do the caulking, you're not going to hardly see that. So let me do the back here, and you can see the finished. See, that started cutting by itself. And this doesn't matter because it's going to get caulking, and that's just going to make the edges perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about this here because all this is going to be white caulk. You're not going to even see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's the back. That's covered. All that's going to be caulked around. And then I'm going to do the blow dryer around that. With me rubbing with the blow dryer, all I'm doing is just pressing to make sure that, because I can't see back there, I'm just making sure that there's no air bubbles, and I'm just smoothing it out with the heat. So this is what I've done so far, and I just got to finish the back of that the same way I did that over there. It's cutting a piece just to meet up to here, to go around here. What I'm going to do is the piece that I cut here is just going to go to this line, and then I'm going to get a piece to go in here to make sure it curves around. But I'll send a final picture when the whole thing is up. And she's going to, like I said, I think I've already stated, but she's going to paint her cabinets a smoky gray, something like this here, and change out her hardware, probably to a nickel or silver finish, to kind of match the finishing of her dishwasher. And hers is not bull nose, hers is just the flat edges.
Oh, bull noses around.
Thank you so much for watching. JRC Restoration, Decor, and Designs. And remember, the distance between your dreams and reality is called action. So make it a blessed and productive day, everyone. And until next time, bye-bye.